yoga teachers, Karen Fabian here, founder of Bare Bones Yoga, and thank you so much for being part of my YouTube channel here. So let me ask you a question. Are you a teacher who's out there and you're still struggling with learning anatomy? You're teaching movement, but it's really hard for you to come up with the cues. When people ask you questions, you sort of shy away, you're not really sure how to answer them, and it's taking you hours and hours to create your sequences. Well, I have the answer for you. Before I get to that, I want to give you a metaphor. Imagine you were going to bake a cake, and it was a really complex one you had never baked before, or maybe even something like a chocolate souffle. If you didn't use a recipe, how do you think that cake would turn out? Probably not so well, right? Well, what if you sort of did all your own research and you watched a whole bunch of YouTube videos and you read a bunch of recipe books and you watched a bunch of food TV and learned all about chocolate souffle, and some videos got really detailed and some were super easy. By the end of that process, do you think you'd know how to bake a chocolate souffle? You'd probably be really overwhelmed. Well, this is what happens with yoga teachers. They're out there, here on YouTube in fact, trying to learn anatomy in a do-it-your-own, choose-your-own-adventure sort of way. And all that's leading to is a whole bunch of overwhelm and confusion. And so what yoga teachers need is a recipe or a blueprint they can use to learn anatomy. Because if you're a yoga teacher, and you're watching this, so I'm assuming you are, if you're a yoga teacher, you know that when you're teaching yoga, you're teaching movement. And movement is the actual study called anatomy. So therefore, mastering anatomy is the key to your transformation as a yoga teacher, from where you are now as a teacher to where you want to be, along all of those lines that I shared before. You want to cue with more confidence. You want to answer student questions enthusiastically and without any hesitation. And you want to be able to walk into the studio and teach class without having to spend hours and hours developing your sequences. Who's got that kind of time? And then further, when you learn anatomy, it's going to be really hard if I teach you the poses and the muscles in the poses before I even teach you what a muscle is. It's going to be really hard if we talk about range of motion limitations in joints if you don't even know what a joint is and how the bones connect to create joints and what types of joints there are. So it's really important to follow a recipe, or what I call a blueprint of steps that you need to learn, which is exactly what you need to know and not all this extra stuff. So, if all of this sounds really intriguing and really interesting and it's really resonating with you, then I have the perfect next step for you to take. Join me on February 24th, 2022. You've got 2 opportunities to be in this workshop because I'm doing it 2 times that day, at noon Eastern and at 5 p.m. Eastern. And in this workshop, I'm going to walk you through the key process to help you master anatomy so that you can transform your teaching, meaning where you are now and where you want to be, and in between there is mastering anatomy so that you can do all those things that are connected to it. So I'm going to include the link to register right here on this video. If you want to just go directly to the registration page, you can just visit my website, barebonesyoga.com, and on the events page, you'll see the link. Otherwise, just refer to the area below this video. You'll see the link to register. And one last thing, when you show up to this live, there's a bonus in it for you. So, can't wait to see you there. Let's get this done. Namaste.